Good morning, Val. Hi, everyone. Hi, Andrea. Everyone trading well? Anyone caught the pound dollar news? Hi, Ishmael. I'm doing well. I'm super tired right now. Hey, Jordan. On the session, drop a message. Hi. Hey, Carsten. In 12 hours after. I was just having a coaching session with Carsten, a brief coaching session with Carsten earlier on. Back on again. Sick of hearing my voice already. So World Service this morning heard that Japanese economy is great, low yen. Possibly, but you know what happens when we see a low yen? The comments and commentaries, a job warning about prevention, about the worries and concerns of a weak yen is hey, hi Bali, KR Signal, hey Nick, how you doing? Hey Lani, hey BL. We'll get started in 2 minutes. Hang on. Good morning, Ismet. Hey, in the meantime, as you guys are all here, everyone is streaming in, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button on YouTube, that little rocket ship button on TradingView, and that happy hand on trading.live. Hey, Chaos. Hey, Goju, good morning. How are you doing? Anyone had a nice trade yesterday? I had a brief one on the key dollar just before it had that crazy bounce. Yen shot up and consolidated. Tell you more about that shortly. Good morning, Angel Case. Special day today. Hey, Jen B, good morning. Gold. If you're new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let us know where you're joining us from. Click on that like and subscribe button. Help me out. Let's get more people onto this. Good to see everyone. All the regular names. Alrighty, let's get started. So before I get started, the link is there again. If you haven't already, do join the Discord channel. It is absolutely free to join. That's where we can take our discussions beyond this 1 hour session, where I'll be sharing with you any news release that comes up, any trade setup that I see, If I get into a trade, why I'm getting out of a trade, or how I'm managing the trade, I'll share with you there. We do have a lot of people there who are sharing their trade ideas, their setups based on different methods of trading, different strategies, SMC, chart patterns, I think some Elliott wave as well. So it's all there, right? Whichever method you're trading, there is someone who is doing the same thing as you are or similar thing as you are. So you can always get some help and advice in the Discord channel. Do make sure you join if you haven't already. Okay. I had a question from someone this morning about how long I will be doing this daily market analysis and guiding you guys through your trading journey. I'll keep doing this as long as you guys are here to, as long as you guys are turning up, listening, and learning, and it's helping you all. So do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button on whatever platform you are watching. Okay. During this daily market analysis, what I'll be doing is looking at the fundamentals. We just had the employment numbers for the UK being released. I'll talk to you about that. Then we look at the technicals in terms of prices, where it could head towards. Combine that together, we look for some possible trade setups. They're all done on one time frame because I'm looking at trades that we could get into quite quickly. Then hold through, ideally through to tomorrow or through to take profit levels. Then we'll do another update tomorrow, same time, same place, 3 p.m. GMT plus 8. Right here, we've been last couple of months already. So with that said, that's going on. Quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed, advised, and presented as educational material only. Please do your own due diligence because the content of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs are not being considered, and you should consider appropriateness to your circumstances. And at any point in time, if you do have a question, please feel free to put them into the chat. Let me know. I'll be happy to answer your questions, points that you missed out on. If you're looking at any particular pairs that you'd like me to look at, I'll share with you my points of view. I don't trade everything. So I will share with you my points of view if it's not something that I trade free on. Okay. So with that said, next up we have Forex Factory, where we're looking at what has happened since the last time we spoke yesterday. Wait for that to get to yesterday. Didn't have any news being released after our session. So we did see the dollar index strengthen, right? At that point, in the evening, the dollar came down, tested that 102.80 level, bounced off strongly, went as high as 103.40, almost 103.45, before coming back down again. So it kind of did what we thought, but to a greater extent. Right now, dollar index below that 103.20 level, looking like it might trade slightly lower. Okay, so I'll tell you more about where I think it could be heading, but that's what happened last night. Through to today, we did have early this morning at 9:30 a.m. GMT plus 8, the Aussie RBA monetary policy meeting minutes. No big surprise there, right? It's giving you details of what happened during the last policy decision, first Tuesday of the month. So the meeting minutes was released with no big surprise, while wage price index quarter to quarter stayed at 0.8%. It was expected to go up slightly to 0.9, but it stayed at 0.8. Industrial production for the Chinese, 10 a.m., 4.4, expected 4.3, dropped rather significantly to a 3.7, signaling some level of slowdown in the Chinese industrial production or Chinese economic activity, which you'll see that on the Aussie dollar at that 9 a.m. time. At 9 a.m. we saw the Aussie dollar shoot down, come back up, formed a lot of stayed within that consolidation. Then again at 10 a.m. spiked down a little bit before bouncing. So this support level of 0.6465 is holding quite strong at this point. Question here now for all of you is, do you think the Aussie dollar is going to hold, or do you think that support level of 6465 is going to hold for the Aussie dollar? Put it into the chat. Let me know. What do you think? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your point of view. Do you think the Aussie dollar is going to hold, or do you think this support level of 6465 is going to hold for the Aussie dollar? Put it in. Hey YJ, how are you doing? So as you're putting your answers for that into the chat, other news release we had was a UK claimant count change. So claimant count change is number of people claiming for unemployment benefits. Right, number of people claiming for unemployment benefits. So the bigger the number, it's not a good. The big number is not a good indication. Right, it shows that more people are being unemployed or claiming for unemployment benefits. This case, it went from 25.7, got revised downward to 62. Expected 19.6 was released at a 9, right? At a 29. While average earnings index was a 6.9, got revised up to 7.2, expected 7.3 or 8.2. That's a little bit worrying because average earnings index provides an indication towards wage inflation. And if we see wage inflation going from a 7.2 to a 8.2, that's going to indicate that we might see headline inflation creep up slightly when the UK CPI is released. That would contradict the Bank of England's expectation or projection or plan to pause on further rate hikes, right? The most recent rate hike the Bank of England did, the comments were they're possibly looking to pause, dependent on data. So if that increases, leading to headline inflation increasing, or headline inflation growth increasing, then that might contradict the current plan for the BOE. Maybe, not straight away, but maybe we might see another rate hike to come for the UK. So that actually led to the pound dollar spiking to the upside, right? I wrote a post about that right after that news, where if you checked back to yesterday's session, I was expecting a spike up on release of the news. It did not, unfortunately, did not go as high as we expect, or has not gone as high as we expected to that 1.2732 level, trigger a sell trade to the downside. Right now, looking like racing slightly at 1.27. Okay, so that's possibly also because of the unemployment rate climbing slightly from 4 to 4.2%. So overall, not great news in terms of the employment front for the UK. More people claiming for unemployment benefits, higher unemployment rate, inflation, or wage inflation climbing to the upside. Not great news, right? And that's why we see increasing slight spike to the upside as the expectations for the Bank of England to possibly do another rate hike in horizon come into play. Ishmael said support level hold and see a bounce back up to resistance for a sideways move. Okay. Hands on the dollar index. A retest for sure due to the long weeks created. Okay, fair enough. What about everyone else? Your view. All right, put it in. With that, then at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, we do have the Canadians, their CPI number, the inflation growth number. And in this case, you see that CPI month to month, more upward tick expected. Hey Diana, how are you doing? more upward tick expected from 0.1 to 0.3. Median CPI 3.9 to 3.7. And trimmed CPI from 3.7 to 3.6. Right? I'm thinking that if we're expecting CPI month to month to jump from 0.1 to 0.3, we're possibly going to see an upset here in terms of the median and the trimmed CPI. Projections right now looking to go from 3.9 to 3.7, 3.7 to 3.6. I think that it might actually stay at that 3.9 and 3.7 level. Not, it might even be slightly higher, right? So I'm not ruling out the chance that we might actually see inflation growth for Canada maybe climb a little bit, because it has been that it dropped slightly and then did not drop as much. So I think some volatility, some some jump before some retracement in terms of inflation growth might occur before we see it turn back down again. Okay, so that's the view on Canadian CPI. I don't think it's going to change plan. I think. I don't think it will change the plan for the Bank of Canada too much. If it changes from, if it stays at 3.7 or even at 3. Yeah, I don't think it's going to change the view of the BOC much. The main driver of volatility today coming from the dollar index would be the retail sales number. Core retail sales for the US, 0.2 previously, expected 0.4. So looking like it might see a jump upside, while retail sales number month to month from a 0.2 to a 0.4 as well. So looking at this, I think that if we do see retail sales number trade slightly higher or be released slightly higher, check some numbers. It's been disappointing a little bit, so we might see this. If it disappoints, we know what to do. If I'm looking at the scenario that we do see it trade a little bit higher, might actually see some dollar strength, anticipating some dollar strength come back in play, right? Especially with that news release. Then through that, nothing much else, all the way through to tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. GMT plus 8, we do have RBNZ, Reserve Bank of New Zealand, with the interest rate decision looking to hold at 5.5%, while monetary policy statement, rate statement is released at the same time. I don't see a surprise coming from the RBNZ at this point. Likely to hold. Might see, as they hold, might see some downside or continued downside on the Kiwi dollar. Then on to tomorrow's CPI for the UK at 2 p.m. GMT plus 8, 7.9 to 6.7. Might see an upset there. I think I will update you guys further about this Discord channel as we see how price moves, and we can plan for this a little bit better during tomorrow's trading session. Okay? Might bounce for now until news US comes, depending on the XY or adapt. All right, cool. So with all that said, now looking at charts, this is dollar index. I always don't know where to put box. Okay, there we go. All right. So that did not happen. We'll take that away. We had this up to here before, right? So now I've dragged up this fib level all the way higher to that high point, and we have at 38.2 level here, right, which coincides with the 102.80 level. What I what I was planning, or thinking that might happen, was for the dollar index to trade lower towards that support before bouncing back up again. Okay, let me try this. Broken that level, so we can take 20 away. Yep. So what I was looking initially was that the dollar index could trade down towards 102.80. We should be at 38.2 level before bouncing back up. But looking at the way it's slowing down, that drop is slowing down right now, I would not be surprised dollar index actually consolidates just below this 103.20 resistance level. Could consolidate right there. Okay, so we'll take that away for now. We know that we have a point there. We can take this away. Take that 50 away. I think that the dollar is likely to consolidate along this point. And if we see stronger retail sales number on for the US later tonight, we might see the dollar strengthen further to push towards that 103.55 level, which coincides with what we saw on the 30th of June and also 6th of July. Okay, so that's what I'm anticipating. So today is the 14th. Might see it consolidate below 103 dot, ending on retail, US retail. Your sales data to break up 103.55. Okay, so I'm looking at it consolidating along this level here. Could look to it for it to break up towards that next level of 103.55. Possible trend line on the dollar index. Talking about that, slightly broken, we could have that. That. I mean, I like that initially, but it's broken already, so I think it could consolidate along there. For this, I think that while this might be a possible trend line, it does look a little bit weak. This point as well, still a little bit weak. So don't think it would be a good trend line to really highlight. But thanks for sharing that. Okay. Hey Phil from Norway, how are you doing? We expect dollar to retrace to 50% fib level. Once, if it breaks down, here we go. So this trend line is still valid. That this trend line from way back there still valid. I've considered the body of it, not the tail. If it does break below 38.2, then I would say that we could see it come down 10 trend line, possibly bounce back up. I don't see a reason why we're going to see massive downside on dollar. Right? I don't see why we should break trend line. Trade lower, no big news driving that. So 101.20 golden zone. 101.20. 101.20 is it's quite very far away. I wouldn't target 101.20 way down here. Thank you, Diana. Okay, so that's what I would be looking for in terms of the dollar index. Okay, so with that, then on to I did that. With that, then on to the Kiwi dollar. Right, Kiwi dollar. I was sharing this during the session, during in the Discord channel yesterday, as it was shoot down. Right, someone was asking what trades can we get into. I think at 5 we were saying look at the Kiwi dollar. Right at that point, we got into a trade there. Went up a little bit, got resisted, and then pushed down. Why we got out of the trade? It came outside of the Bollinger Band, and also at that 9 o'clock time, looking at the dollar index. That time I highlighted in the group that you had to be careful because the dollar index was way outside of the Bollinger Band. So I was anticipating for that retracement to come back in, right? That's why I put it. I think you guys should remember I put it out there and said, watch out on the dollar index out of Bollinger Band. So did quite well on the Kiwi dollar there. I think I got out at about 35, just under 35 pips, right? As it tested that outside of Bollinger Band. Right now, okay, sorry, just a bit. Okay, now with this point here on Kiwi dollar, catching this level here, low here, we see that 23.6, since it broke lower, has been holding, failed to break above, I like this price action here, forming a little bit of a hammer to the downside. So I do think that we might see further downside on the dollar, right? Maybe wait for the hour to close. You could be looking for a quick trade down, a quick setup to the downside. I would say that it's safer below 109, 0.5965. Stop loss will be about 25 pips. Take profit could come down to almost 43. Do have H4 time frame and interim level there. So I would say that we could see further downside on the Kiwi dollar. It would be right now, I would say this would be the first trade. I think if you looked at it later into the day, then you could even be looking at a big move to the downside, considering that we do have RBNZ interest rate decision tomorrow. Okay, so I think you could even be looking at that. That would be reasonable. 110. I could even do this at 30 pips. Break below those points. Okay, we can see that. Okay, so Kiwi dollar, I would say 5965, 30 to 110. At selling the Kiwi 5965. Stop loss 30, take profit 110 to the downside. Sorry. This is RBNZ tomorrow. If dollar index retraces, then we expect gold to react to 20 and then back to 900. H4 FIB provides different. Okay, I'll get to gold shortly, well, towards the end. Just hang tight. Gold. Right, dollar index pushing back up already, so we are seeing the Kiwi dollar trade down. Could be a trade that I would I could get in a little bit earlier. Then onto the Aussie dollar. Look at that. Actually worked very nicely. It did come up, just test that level for turning back down. It is, I asked that question a little bit too late, but it does look like it's going to come down and break below this support level. Okay, I think that it's likely to break. So that would have been a good trade down. Lines here. That one away. Okay, so now the main focus here is this support level. Very similar to what happened here. I think that we could see it break down, then bounce back up, and then after that continue downside. Right, we are seeing that dollar strength come back into play. So I think a breakdown, grab a little bit more liquidity to the downside, bounce back up, tested support, now resistance, or support turned resistance, and look to sell down. Looking at it on the H4 time frame, it is at a significant low level. Next big support level would be previous swing level here, which is 6387, and then one more at 6276. So back to the H1 time frame, what I'll be looking at here is no point rushing into it yet. What you could be looking for is selling opportunity about 455. It needs to close below that. 20 pip stop loss. Good 60 pip take profit to the downside. Looking for that. Could even be going at 645, 25 pip, 5 pip. 645025 to, that's quite a, considering that bounce and retrace and turn back down. 645025. Yeah, after all that bounce, once it breaks past this point, we're going to more downside to 45020. Stop loss 20, profit got my Kiwi coming close. Kiwi coming very close right now. Aussie there. Yen is back up again, right? I got out somewhere there, so that one's out already. Now yen trading higher again. Currently at 145.79 or 145.80. Next big resistance is at 146.50. The trend line is still holding to the upside, right? So we are looking at possibly further upside for US yen, especially if the dollar index breaks above that resistance and pushes higher. But I am getting worried about a possible intervention from the Bank of Japan. You can see here on the corner that they're not targeting absolute levels on FX intervention. Weakness strokes intervention fears. So that intervention commentary is ongoing. So because of that, I'll keep the trades quite short term, right? Really manage quite short term. 146 here. putting it as a round number level. Could be looking at a quick trade up, just continuing on the trend. 146, take profit, 40 pips, stop loss very tight, 20 pips, 1 to 2 upside. I am still looking for that intervention move back down. Right, intervention move in this case could be now below 145.40, break down to downside. Not, I won't put that in now, right? Some level. And Bless says, I see a bearish flag on the Aussie dollar. Yes, I think I that. That. That's breaking out flag right now. I think that's it. I terrible with patterns. That. Okay. Back to the US yen, break above 146 to 146.50. I would consider this as an intervention, possible intervention level. Okay. Whether I could go in a little bit earlier. I think at this round number level might be a bit risky. I only want to see it break above before I would do a quick trade up. Don't most likely would not have to enter this trade. There are a lot of other opportunities across the board. This might be that too high to enter, but manage it properly, you could still catch a couple of pips there. So 140, 146, stop loss 20, take profit 40, 146, stop loss 40. Still looking, watch out for it. A lot of good opportunities rising for potential intervention. I think I've shared this with you guys before, but just in case for the new viewers. Hey Matic, how you doing? Hey FX, Chief Priest. Okay, you can look for that one. So if you head to my profile and then you go to the tags, look for intervention, you'll see that okay. I did have a lot of previous analysis about the intervention in the Bank of Japan. This was October last year, October, December as well. So all about the Bank of Japan intervention that happened, right? So you can read more about it, prepare for that in case we see that happen in this time round. All right. With that, then on pound dollar, was looking for it to spike up because of the news. Why is tracing back down now? Because of dollar. DAX pushing up slightly. Take that away because that's done. I think that it is still well within that range. And you that big spike out. I was actually looking for this to trade higher. But that previous high here is holding prices down. I think that with the dollar index pushing up, consolidating along that level, we could see this trade around this point. Two things you can be looking for here on the pound dollar is that it does break down from this trend line 1.2670. Stop loss very tight, no more than 20 pips. Take profit could be down to 50 pips or even at best downside. Or if it doesn't, I'll go this a little lower. 1.2665. Stop loss 20. Take profit 5. If it doesn't break down from this trend line, then we might actually some potential 1.2745. Take profit 40 pips. Stop loss very tight. So right now, nothing to do on the pound dollar. Does need to break either that previous high for further upside or that trend line for that downside potential. All right. So that pound dollar will look to sell at 1.2665. Stop loss 25. 5. Stop loss profit 5. Or buy at 1.745. Stop loss 20. Profit 4. Bit tight there in terms of range. Point 2745. 745. Stop loss 20. Take profit. Again, not a lot of space. Pound dollar. Okay, so the question there was from Ilumalia for the yen. Looking at the pound yen shot up, did not trigger our trade to the downside. Push higher now at 185. Anticipating yen to push up a bit higher, we could see this trade up. Again, H4 time frame, a daily time frame, we don't see your reference points all the way through to 2015 with level here at 188. Slightly lower, nearer one at about 1639. Corrected H1 all the way right across. Could trade it up. I would urge a lot of caution on the pound yen at this point. Trend line still holding to the upside. Interim level right there. Looking at the way the pound dollar is sitting right there, looks like it could push a little bit higher. US yen again hesitating a little bit for 146, but still higher. I would say that pound yen, you could trade it up 185.50. You're looking at 185.5. Take profit a good 70 pips to the upside. Stop loss tight at about 30 pips. Okay, so that's my thought on the pound yen. Might retrace a little. Could have another trade towards that, breaking that level, another one up. Depending on how it plays out, depending on how the pound dollar plays out. Okay. Then onto the euro dollar. We were very optimistic, hoping for the euro dollar to push up. Did not happen, right? Did not happen. Euro dollar stuck well into that downtrend. Last night we saw a big push downside. Now looking at this, broken my levels. So broken the levels. Now tested this point and bounced back up. Right now consolidating along this 109.20 level range. Broken, failed. Consolidate at this point. I would look for, so this line doesn't work, take that away. I would look for the euro dollar to trade down. We're expecting that dollar index power and strength. So if I were looking at this, then I was saying that below 109.05, 109.05, about that is in that consolidation, might see it up before turning back down, repeating what we saw from yesterday. So in that case, I'd like to see a bit of a consolidation, more trade to the upside before turning back down again. That, then look for a repeat of yesterday's move, 109.45, stop loss 20 pips at most, take profit down to that 65 towards yesterday's low. Okay, that makes that thought. Quite happy with that thought. 109.45, 1.5, stop loss 20, profit 6. Again, if you are finding this useful, help me out. Click that like and subscribe button. 109. Still consolidating, and that's why we're seeing euro dollar bounce back a bit. If it breaks above this point, many of you might be tempted to buy it up. I would say that the euro dollar has seen very big moves, strong moves to the downside, very rapid moves to the downside. So I'll be buy it up. I'll rather wait for that retracement or selling it back down again. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, so with that, then onto Frank. Did not drop as much as we expected for bouncing back up. So we can take that away. Broke out above that resistance, rapidly retracing back down. That because it was way outside of that Bollinger Band, came straight back in. So at point now, trend line, looking for it to break. The last time it reacted at levels, massive, relatively massive downside towards that support level here, right? Or at least towards that level here. Level here. So what I'll be looking for, break of that trend line. So down 0.8760, stop loss 25, 20 pips, 5 pips. Take profit down 60 pips. Good look to close out at about 29, 30 pips. So you're looking at a 1-to-1 or 1:2 to the downside on the US franc. Okay, so 0.8760 0.8760, stop loss 25, take profit. Sell this down 0.876, stop loss 20, profit 6. Stop loss 25, take profit 2, downside. Righty. Next up, US CAD. Right, US CAD did not trigger our trades. Take that away. Take that away because it's messy. Trend line is a hold at level that does not make sense. That pushing higher because of, not so much because of the dollar index, pushing higher, particular reason. But what you want to notice or remember is that we do have the CPI number to be, might see that coming at a 3.7, 3.8, expecting a 3.7, 3.8 there as well. Thinking a little bit of an uptick in CPI, or in either scenario, even if we see it come out at 3.76, then it would be very dependent on the dollar index. Break above 1.5. See what happens if it breaks above 1.5. The next here at 1.574, 580 was the previous high. So in this case, could see a further upward move on the US CAD. That's on H4 time frame. Look for it to break above that previous high. What I think could happen in this case is a break, trace, break back up, and we're going to see it trade up to it. Combined it, that move is really combined with strength, potential strength of the dollar index, and also the possible weakness in CAD. Then no big surprise on data. So about 1,350. 3,520. Stop loss 25 pips. Take profit up to to right. That trend line as well. I like to test a bit, bounce back up. So 1.3520. Stop loss 25. Take profit 1.5. Stop loss 5. Take profit 8. Then everyone who's been asking about gold, looking at gold now, right? We were looking for the trade up, break slightly higher for trading back down. We're saying that it could trade down to 1912, got to 1905. There was a comment that gold react to 1916, 1920, then back to 1900. think that there don't see a reason why it could raise that. Do have a low there, though this point have a support around level about that. That downtrend is downside. So good, right? What it will be for is for it to break below 1904. I don't see a big rebound. Good rebound, but I don't see a rebound. So below 1904, could see it go down towards 1895 level. Fair enough. Okay, so I'll be happy with that. Gold. So needs to break 1904 for trading down to 885. Yep, ready. Okay. There we have it. All right. There we have it. So with that, that's the plan for the 15th. Bear in mind, we do have CPI numbers to be released. We do have retail sales numbers later tonight. And then early tomorrow morning, the RBNZ rate decision. In the meantime, if you haven't already, again, big reminder, do join Discord channel. Is there for you. Join and discuss about your trades, to learn how to other trading methods and strategies, to ask questions. Once you join this channel, there is a link for a one-to-one session, coaching session with me as well. So do make sure that once you join, book your session as well. I can find out more about your trading journey and help you trade better, trade more profitable for the longer term. With that said, trade well, trade safe. I'll go tomorrow.